This is the 9th OnShape tutorial for the pen project. In this tutorial, we're going to get started with the clip. We're going to break this clip up into 2 video segments because there's quite a bit of detail to how we create this geometry. It's more than just a simple revolve like we've done in a lot of the other parts. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start by creating a new part studio. Once again, we'll rename it. I'm going to work in the front plane, create a new sketch, view normal to, and hide my reference planes. All right, so far, this is nothing new. I'm going to create a line, hit escape. I'm going to select this line. I'm going to hit Q to switch it to construction. Remember, you have the button to switch back and forth between object and construction, or you can just hit the letter Q on your keyboard. And for this one, we're going to sketch a rectangle from here to here. The width of the rectangle is 40 thousandths, 0.040. And then the height of the rectangle is 210 thousandths, or 0.210. So you'll notice this is relatively small. So we'll zoom in here. And that's it for this one. So I'm going to green check. I'm going to select it. And I'm going to revolve it. Okay, I already have the face selected, so now I need to choose my axis of revolution. And I'm going to green check. So now I have the initial disk placed where I want it. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start another sketch. Once again, I'm going to choose my front plane, but here I'm going to select it from over here, right click on it and create a new sketch. Right click, view normal. And in this case, I'm going to turn off visibility of my first part. Okay, so I'll poke out the eyeball here. So now I have just a clean workspace. I'm going to draw a line. It's going to go straight up. And then I'm going to come down, add an angle. I don't want it to be in line with anything else. So I don't want to be in line with the origin. I don't want to be in line up top with vertical or horizontal. Okay, I just want it to be at some random acute angle. And then I'm going to hit escape. So now I'm going to start adding a few dimensions to this. So D for my dimensioning key, or I can click up here. All right, this first dimension here is going to be 355 thousandths, or 0.355. Okay, we'll zoom out. I'm going to dimension from here to this far point. And that's going to set the length of the clip to 1.786, or 1 in 786 thousandths. Okay, I'm going to hit the F key on my keyboard to zoom to fit. And then I'll click on my scroll wheel and drag down to move this into the visible space. Okay, so now I have kind of the basic structure I need for this clip. The last thing I want to do now is I want to fillet this, and then I'm just going to set the angle. Notice that I don't have, this line is still blue because I haven't fully dimensioned it or fully constrained it. So I'm going to go to my fillet tool, and I'm going to click over here, and I'm going to set this corner to a fillet radius of 80 thousandths, so 0.080. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on visibility of this part because I need to reference it. So I'll undo the eyeball. All right, I need a reference line that comes off the top of this. So what I'll do is I'll come over here and I'll use convert. So my convert object allows me to come over here and convert the top of this face. All right, so now this top edge here I can use as a reference. I'm going to hit escape to get out of my convert tool. I'm going to select this, and then I'm going to change it to construction. Notice this is yet another way I can switch my line type from construction to object line. Okay, I'm going to grab this line and I'm going to stretch it out. All right, I'm going to stretch it out till it goes past here, or at least even with it. Okay. So now I'm going to zoom in over here, and I'm going to use my dimensioning tool, so D on my keyboard. Select that line. I'm going to select this point, and I'm going to give this a distance of 60 thousandths, 0.060. Notice now that if I turn off my initial part, all of my geometry here is black, so now it's all fully defined, fully constrained. Okay, so I'll turn this back on. and I'll green check because I'm done with the sketch. The only reason I need this sketch is because I needed to define this path. Now that I have this path, all right, I want to create a profile that can be swept along that path. Again, I said this is a little bit different way of doing geometry from what we've done before. So in this case, I'm going to choose a plane that is at 90 degrees to the start point here. And for me, that plane is the top plane. So I'll right click on the top plane and then go to my new sketch. I'm going to right click and go normal to it. So I'll go normal to sketch. And I'm going to turn off visibility on my part geometry. And I'll zoom in over here. So for this sketch, I'm going to draw a small rectangle. All right, but I want to do a couple things first. First, I'll grab me a line. I'll come out here and hit escape. I'm going to set this line to be construction geometry. Okay. I'm going to go, and instead of using a corner rectangle, I'm going to use a center point rectangle. All right, because I want to make sure my rectangle is on this line. I don't want it to be started at the midpoint of this segment, though. That's one thing that's important. I don't want it to be constrained to that midpoint. So anywhere on this line other than the midpoint is a good place to start with this rectangle. And I'm going to pull it out until it snaps to the origin. All right. So now I'm going to set the width of this to 62 thousandths, 0.062. And I'm going to set the height of this to 190 thousandths, or 0.190. So now I have my initial rectangle, which I'm going to use to sweep along that path. So I'm going to green check. And then I'm going to put this into isometric view. All right. So you can see I've got a face and I've got a path. Those are the two things I need to create a sweep or a swept feature. So I'm going to come up here to sweep. The first thing it asks me, what's the face I want to use? All right, and that's going to be this sketch here. The next thing is, what is the path I want to sweep it along? So I'm going to change and choose swept path, and I'm going to grab this one here and make sure I grab all three of those segments. All right. Now, you'll notice mine came out clean. Nothing's red. If yours comes out red, then you may have set the fillet radius wrong, or you may have some other, mitigating detail that's causing you trouble. And if that's the case, talk to your teacher, and he'll see if he or she will see if they can help you out. So now I'm going to green check. I have that geometry. So now I have two pieces of geometry, right? I have two parts. Okay. I have my initial hidden part, and I have the rest of the clip. So the next thing I want to do is I want to fillet this. So I'm going to come up to my fillet tool, and I'm going to fillet the ends of this. So right here and right here, I want to set that to a fillet radius of 95 thousandths, or 0.095. And then green check. And now I'm going to shell it. All right, so what I want to do is I want to hollow out this bottom surface. So I'm going to go to my shell tool, and I'm going to set my shell thickness to 41 thousandths, 0.041. And then the faces that I want to remove are going to be the bottom face, this curve, this side face, and then of course the bottom here. And if you can't quite get to the bottom there, then again, you can poke out the eyeball and turn off that other bit of geometry. So I'll green check. All right. Bring that back. So this gets us about halfway on this part. So at this point, you're going to move on, go to the next video, and we'll finish this piece off.